Muskegon Channel. It's Andy O'Reilly, and today I am up in Whitehall with Steve Salter. You go by Steve or Steven?
Steve.
Steve, all right. Steve Salter is up here. And I first got to know Steve 3-4 years ago when I was up here helping John Allen out with his low-power FM station. He's got a really cool thing going on up here. And it's taken me a couple of minutes to get up here to finally catch up with you to talk about Killer Blues. But thanks for taking a couple of minutes today to tell me about your project, your passion, and all this other kind of stuff. I think it's really awesome what you're doing, and I want to share it with the audience out here. So first off, thank you, and tell me a little bit about this blues project that you got going on. Where did it all start? This love of blues and everything that you've got.
Well, it's the official legal name is Killer Blues Nonprofit Company.
Okay.
Okay. The unofficial name is the Killer Blues Headstone Project.
Okay.
Because that is what we do. Basically, our mission statement, and every organization has a mission statement.
Yep.
So our mission statement is pretty clear. It says, the Killer Blues Headstone Project exists to provide headstones for blues artists lying in unmarked graves. Simple as that.
And there are quite a few.
There are quite a few.
And we're going to show a picture here of the outside of this thing. You go way back when it comes to blues. We're not talking about the new Alligator Records bunch of blues guys that are, because blues is popular. People love blues. You really have some history when it comes to blues.
I do.
Tell me a little bit about this passion for this stuff.
First of all, I want to say, blues is the roots, everything else is the fruits.
Yep.
That is a quote from Willie Dixon.
I couldn't agree more.
But I like to take it back further than that and say blues is the mother of all music. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you the very first song that was ever sung by a human. And I can tell you exactly when that song was sung.
I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
It was a blues song.
All right.
And the person that sang it, his name was Adam. And the song he sang was, "Oh Lord, I feel so bad, I've been kicked out of the Garden of Eden."
We've heard that story.
That's the blues. That's the blues.
It is.
And of course, shortly after, when Adam and his family took care of themselves,
sure,
and abundance came their way, then they said, "Oh Lord, thank you, we feel so good."
Yep.
Gospel.
There you go. Perfect. Man knows his stuff. History lesson too. So perfect. What got you into it? Where's the passion start?
Well, I grew up listening to music.
Yep.
As a child, there was always music in our family.
Yeah.
Listening to the radio. I have fond memories of Muskegon Station WTRU.
Yeah.
1600 on
Yep.
AM dial.
You bet.
And so I always listening to music. And I guess the way a lot of Americans got their interest in the blues was through British invasion.
Sure.
These British cats coming here with their music.
Stones and the Beatles and everybody, yep.
Looking at, and it's like, who's this McKinley Morganfield? Who's this Chester Burnett? Doing research and found out, oh, these are blues guys. Oh, this is blues music. I need to know more about that.
Sure.
So that's where my interest in blues started. Probably in the late 60s, early 70s, I had an older brother that would turn me on to various artists. So from then on, it was like, okay, I got to have more of this.
Yeah.
So I've continued to research and took a particular interest in the blues. And starting in 1988, I said, I got to get to the Chicago Blues Festival. It's the world's premier blues festival. So I took a trip down there and was just immersed in it. And this is wonderful. And kept going every year. And along about 1997, I said, I got to get down to the New Orleans Jazz Festival. Because blues is the mother of all music. Blues begot jazz.
Sure.
And I tell people there's only two kinds of music. Kind I like, kind I don't. So, and there's no such thing as bad music, just music played badly.
Sure.
I appreciate talent, whatever form it takes. So I had to get to New Orleans. Road trip. Well, a casual researcher that I am, I decided what's between my home in Whitehall in New Orleans. So doing some research, it was like, oh, there's Muddy Waters is buried in Chicago. I never got to see Muddy perform live, so at least I can do is pay my respects.
Sure. So
I went to Muddy Waters gravesite, and it was like, wait a minute, this I was expecting this monument,
sure.
Huge monument,
sure,
and it was basically a flat stone, 1 foot by 2 foot by 4 inch thick granite in the ground,
and that was it.
And that was it. I was just okay. Well, it is what it is. Next, it was on to another cemetery for Howlin Wolf, another one of my favorites. Actually, Howlin Wolf is my all-time favorite blues guy.
I was going to get to that, but you beat me to it. Okay.
So he had I don't know, it was about 4 foot tall, but wide by about 2 foot tall, and I thought, okay, this is getting closer to what it should be.
Sure.
And then it was on to another cemetery where I was after Otis Spann. Otis Spann was early piano player, played with Muddy Waters and Howlin Wolf. I got to the cemetery and they gave me the card that gives the directions to where he's at, and there was nothing there.
Really?
And I'm looking and looking. I finally went back to the office and said I couldn't find his headstone. They said, well, because there is none. And I said, how could that be?
Right.
Well, I went down to New Orleans and had a great time at the festival, and came back, and it just kind of gnawed on me. And so finally, later, I don't know, 6 months later, I wrote a letter to a blues magazine and said, hey, Otis Spann's lying in an unmarked grave. This is terrible. Let's do something about it.
Yeah.
So they kind of organized a place where people could send donations.
Sure.
And I sent my donation in, and they duly got a headstone for him. And I thought, okay, this is great.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Well, there didn't seem to be any interest. So, okay, I left it at that. Now we got to, in the story, we got to go back a little bit.
Okay.
Back to 1995. Prior to that, I'm still interested in blues. In 1995, I bought a CD in Grand Rapids, and on the back of it, it had a card that said it came from Tant Distributors in Montague, Michigan.
Really?
And I thought, wait, Montague's right next to Whitehall.
Sure.
So I went out and saw a warehouse and knocked on the door and said, hey. And I was met by a man named Billy Thomas, who was actually a distributor for Delmark Records.
Okay.
So Billy and I spent a lot of time talking and listening to records, and he actually had been doing some festivals. So he asked me to come along and help him. Sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah. So I thought, well, I kind of like this. This is fun, and I watched and saw how he did things, and obviously with any kind of thing like that, you go, well, I think maybe I'd do it differently this way.
Yeah.
So I got the idea that I'd like to have my own. So I applied for a tax license and started a business called Killer Blues, and my goal was I was going to sell CDs and T-shirts at festivals. I thought, what a great way! I can go to festivals and hear all the music and
absolutely and make a buck at it. Sure.
So I started that, and the reason I picked Killer Blues was at that time in the late 80s, early 90s, people would say, oh, that's Killer, that's Killer. Yeah. That meant it was the best.
Yep.
It was the best. And actually, I had T-shirts printed up, and on the back it said, all Killer, no filler.
Yep.
And my thing was, I was not going to sell anything that I couldn't personally recommend this is the good stuff.
Don't I know
what you should have.
Yes.
So that was how the Killer Blues started, and that went on for 10 years. I did that, and gradually CD sales kept falling off as downloading.
Sure.
And I thought, okay, well, this is not a viable business anymore.
Sure.
It's time to get out of this. And all while those 10 years, I was still doing research and finding people where they were buried and documenting, taking trips to the South and documenting where these blues people are buried. So long about 2003, I think it was, I said, okay, I'm done doing those festivals because it's not paying off anymore. And in 2008, I decided, okay, I'm going to turn this into a 501c nonprofit.
Sure.
And 2008 is when we started. I started with a small blues festival in Whitehall. We put on a show and raised some money, and it's been 10 years now, and we've purchased 100 headstones.
100 headstones.
100.
That's amazing.
And I find it amazing. To me, at the initial start of this, I never ever imagined that I would be at 100. I was like, I thought, geez, if I could get 10 stones, I would be
right.
And my wife would say, okay, 10. Then you're going to stop this, right? I said, well,
yeah, honey. Yeah.
Well, you know, I got these guys that now need markers. So, and people say, well, how long are you going to do this? And I'm saying, well,
why?
Probably till the day I die,
sure.
Because
to give back.
My research continues, and I'm still finding new people, and blues people are dying.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, give back is right. I tell people this is about giving back. I tell people I'm paying it backwards.
Yeah.
I'm paying respect for these people, these artists that created this music that I love so much, that has had such a huge impact on the rest of all of music.
Sure.
So, you know, it's
passion.
It's a passion, and that's the thing. It's a personal passion for me, and I tell people everybody needs to find something that they're passionate about and find a way to give something back.
Yeah.
Everybody can give some. Nobody's too poor that they can't give something back.
I agree.
Even if it's just your time. Time's the most valuable thing there is.
Yep.
You know, they make new dollars every day. They don't make new hours.
I'd like to find some.
Yeah.
I keep driving around looking for that pile of new dollars somewhere, but no, I'm with you though. There's always something somebody can do to do something. So it's 100 of them now.
100 now.
That's amazing.
Well, actually 101, but it's not on the ground yet.
Not yet.
It's paid for, but it's
incredible.
It's still being
carved or whatever.
Carved,
yeah,
yes,
whatever.
yes.
So we're going to put links to everything that you've got on here, your website, your Facebook page, and all that other kind of stuff. Do you do local events still too? I mean, do you have a?
I still do local events. This year, my annual, I call it the White Lake Blues Festival, is always the first weekend in May.
Okay.
And this year we were unable to do it because of the Howmet Playhouse is undergoing
little construction, just a little bit,
massive renovations. So I wasn't able to do that.
Sure.
And I've got the date set for next year, May. So May of 2019, first weekend in May. The White Lake Blues Festival returns.
Tell you what, you get a hold of us in April, we'll come up and help you promote it.
I appreciate
We'd love to get the word out. We'd love to get some people up here at Whitehall to come up and enjoy it. Beautiful town. Reminds me of Sparta, where I grew up. It's a little, it's not, Sparta's getting there. It really is, but Whitehall's got the water and the lake and all that other kind of stuff. It really reminds me of home, so I love coming up to Whitehall. I really do. I
tell people I live in Paradise.
Yeah.
And Paradise to me is the White Lake area. I know we say Whitehall, but to me it's Whitehall Montague area.
Yeah.
This is the White Lake area. This is my paradise that I live in. Mm-hmm. And then wider is the West Michigan area.
Sure.
That includes Muskegon, where I grew up.
Yeah, we got it good around here. Killer Blues. You're going to get all the details right here on the Muskegon channel. Steve, thanks for a couple of minutes today. Again, if you want to help out, you want to give this guy a look here on his website, do it. They can make a donation if they want to.
Yes,
doesn't have to be big. Button. Doesn't have to be big. Doesn't have to be small. Doesn't have to be any more than you can afford to give. But help this guy out with his passion and learn a little bit more about Killer Blues right here on the Muskegon channel.